Breaking news spread rapidly across international outlets when reports emerged that a rare Russian multi-role warship valued at over $100 million had been dramatically destroyed in a high-stakes strike. Naval analysts, governments, and defense enthusiasts alike were stunned by the footage and intelligence briefings that began circulating online. This vessel, a centerpiece of Russia's surface fleet modernization, was supposed to be an example of versatility and technological sophistication, yet it became a symbol of vulnerability when precision and timing converged against it. The event not only shifted the regional balance at sea, but also provided a sobering reminder that even the most expensive ships can be outmatched by modern tactics. The story began months earlier when Ukrainian intelligence reportedly identified the warship's operational patterns. It was a ship designed for multiple missions: anti-air, anti-submarine, and anti-surface warfare rolled into one sleek hull. Because of its price tag and rarity, its movements were carefully monitored by both allies and adversaries. According to open-source tracking, the vessel frequently patrolled contested waters and acted as a command node for other smaller craft. Ukraine's planners understood that eliminating such an asset would carry both strategic and psychological impact. They allegedly watched for vulnerabilities, gathered satellite imagery and maritime surveillance data, and prepared a precision strike that would maximize surprise. When the moment came, their weapons found their mark, and the resulting explosion turned one of Russia's most prized naval investments into wreckage and headlines. From the outside, this warship had been an impressive sight. Its hull cut through the water with a low, stealth-inspired profile, minimizing radar return and offering a modern silhouette very different from older Soviet-era designs. Advanced composites blended with steel reinforcement created a structure that was both strong and relatively lightweight. The bow rose with a sharp angle to handle heavy seas, while the superstructure was compact and sloped to deflect radar waves. Above, large phased array radar panels formed the ship's sensory crown, while missile tubes lined the decks in discreet, armored housings. The main gun, mounted forward, provided traditional firepower for shore bombardment and surface engagements. Helicopter facilities at the stern extended the ship's reach into the air and undersea domains, allowing it to deploy drones or anti-submarine aircraft. Observers at ports or through long-range cameras often commented on its futuristic look with clean lines and minimal clutter, a stark contrast to the older, busier profiles of Cold War vessels. Inside, the design was functional but infused with modern electronics. Crew quarters were compact but equipped with climate control, better sound insulation, and improved ergonomic bunks compared to older Russian ships. The Combat Information Center was the nerve hub, lined with digital displays that fused data from radars, sonars, and satellites into a single picture for the command staff. Corridors were narrow but well lit, and the bridge offered panoramic displays with touchscreen navigation and targeting systems. While comfort was not the priority, efficiency and rapid information processing clearly were. Compared with past generations of Russian warships, this interior layout reduced the time needed for decision-making and weapon assignment, which was supposed to give the ship an edge in multi-threat environments. Powered by a high-efficiency gas turbine propulsion system combined with auxiliary diesel engines, it could sprint at speeds exceeding 30 knots and maintain long-range patrols without refueling for extended periods. Its stability in rough seas allowed weapons and sensors to remain effective, even in adverse conditions. The vessel's combat systems were capable of tracking dozens of aerial and maritime targets simultaneously, allocating missiles or guns accordingly. Anti-aircraft missiles protected it from incoming aircraft and cruise missiles, while anti-ship and land attack missiles allowed it to strike at surface or coastal targets hundreds of kilometers away. Beneath the waterline, advanced sonar arrays gave it an anti-submarine capability rare in ships of its class. This versatility meant the vessel could act as a lone hunter, an escort to larger units, or a command ship coordinating smaller craft and aircraft in a combined operation. In military exercises, it demonstrated the ability to switch between these roles seamlessly, showcasing the concept of a true multi-role surface combatant. Safety features had been emphasized in its design as well. Compartmentalization and reinforced bulkheads were built to contain damage from fire or flooding. Automated fire suppression systems could flood affected compartments with inert gas, while redundant power and navigation controls allowed the ship to continue operating even if sections were disabled. Lifeboats and escape hatches were strategically positioned for rapid evacuation. These measures reflected lessons learned from past naval losses, both Russian and foreign, and were meant to reassure crews and commanders that the vessel could survive punishment and keep fighting. Even the arrangement of ammunition stores and fuel tanks had been carefully considered to reduce the risk of catastrophic secondary explosions. What set this warship apart from others and justified its high cost was the integration of its system. Stealth shaping reduced detectability, but it was the fusion of sensors, weapons, and data links that created a combat cloud capability. The ship could receive information from satellites, aircraft, and other ships, process it on board, and distribute target data back out in real time. This network-centric approach allowed it to act not just as a shooter, but as an intelligence node, multiplying the effectiveness of an entire task force. Its vertical launch system could carry a mix of missile types, enabling quick reconfiguration depending on mission needs. Few ships in Russia's inventory offered such flexibility, making this class both a technological flagship and a prestige symbol. The price tag reflected all of this sophistication. Estimates placed the cost of the hull, propulsion, sensors, and full weapon suite at over $100 million, a significant sum for a single surface combatant. In an era of constrained budgets and sanctions, every unit represented years of investment and scarce high-tech components. Losing one was not just a tactical blow, but also a financial and industrial setback, especially when replacement parts and expertise were difficult to source. Naval observers noted that such losses could take years to recover from, and in the meantime, the fleet's overall capability would be diminished. The destruction of this vessel illustrated the paradox of modern naval warfare. On paper, it was bristling with defenses and advanced countermeasures. In practice, it was caught at the wrong place and time by a carefully planned, relatively low-cost strike. Analysts pointed out that the attack was as much about intelligence and timing as about hardware. By tracking the ship's routines and vulnerabilities, the attackers neutralized its strengths. This event underscored how asymmetric tactics can undermine expensive platforms, a lesson as old as naval history, but newly relevant in an age of drones, precision munitions, and real-time data. For Russia, the loss was a symbolic setback that dented both prestige and capability. For Ukraine and its supporters, it was a dramatic demonstration of how persistence and innovation can erode an adversary's technological edge. For outside observers, it offered a case study in the shifting balance of sea power, where nimble forces and precision strikes can outmaneuver traditional fleet doctrine. The sight of a $100 million warship burning or sinking served as a vivid image of the risks inherent in deploying high-value assets within reach of motivated adversaries. As more details emerged about the attack and the ship's last moments, questions arose about whether its defenses were properly active, whether maintenance or crew training had been compromised, or whether new weapons had been used that the ship was not designed to counter. Each of these possibilities carried implications for future naval design and operations. Commentators debated whether larger ships should be built at all, or whether smaller, more numerous, and expendable vessels combined with unmanned systems might be the future. The warship's fate thus became more than a single news story. It became a catalyst for rethinking strategy. In the months ahead, naval architects and defense ministries will study the incident in detail, drawing lessons for ship design, crew training, and deployment patterns. Whoa. Some will argue for even more advanced countermeasures and heavier armor. Others will emphasize dispersal, deception, and the use of decoys. But the fundamental takeaway will remain that technology alone cannot guarantee invulnerability. Coordination, intelligence, and adaptability may be even more decisive than hardware. For the viewing public, the destruction of this rare multi-role warship is a dramatic illustration of how fast the world of maritime security is changing. It was supposed to be a symbol of power projection and versatility. Instead, it became a headline about vulnerability and precision. Understanding its design, performance, safety features, unique selling points, cost, and ultimate fate helps explain why this event resonated far beyond the immediate conflict zone. It also shows how quickly the balance at sea can shift when a high-value target is lost. This story is more than a catalog of specifications. It is a window into the broader dynamics of modern warfare. Ships like this are built to operate across domains, integrate advanced technology, and project power. Yet, they are also complex, expensive, and difficult to replace. Their loss can ripple through strategy, industry, and morale. The event surrounding this particular warship encapsulates all of those themes, making it a case study for navies and analysts worldwide. The sinking or destruction of the $100 million Russian multi-role warship therefore stands as both an operational fact and a symbolic moment. It highlights the evolution of naval design from heavy armor to stealth and networks, and the counter-evolution of weapons designed to defeat them. It shows that in the 21st century, versatility and cost do not necessarily equal survivability. And it reminds everyone watching that at sea, as on land and the air, preparation and precision can change the course of events in an instant.